In the third year of my on and off relationship with Jason, I said I wanted to get married. He smoked a cigarette, silent, grabbed his coat and left. The next day, there were photos circulating of the heir of City A visiting a jewelry store. My best friend congratulated me in advance. He's definitely buying an engagement ring for you. Just wait. Jason's wife is you and only you. I didn't admit it, but deep down I was thrilled. That night, in front of many familiar faces, Jason took out that ring and handed it over to a man in a wheelchair behind him. Uncle, I heard you were looking for a spouse. Coincidentally, Molly wants to get married too. Relax, I've trained her well. She'll take good care of you. See how thoughtful I am. I even got the ring for you both. The 3 years with Jason were filled with arguments. He was cold and sharp-tongued. I was aloof and stubborn. Neither of us was a saint. Our friends would scathingly say. Anyone else could break up, but not Molly and Jason, 2 pieces of garbage perfect for each other. But I knew more than anyone that I couldn't live without him. After our last explosive fight, he knelt down on one knee to bandage the cut on my palm. On the ground were shards from the glass I had shattered. Jason. He didn't look up. I want to get married. He paused, his calm demeanor unshaken. All he said was keep the cut dry. Even after I washed up and laid down to rest, he tidied up the mess in the living room himself. Then he finished his cigarette silently on the balcony, grabbed his coat, and left. Without any answers for me, I was unable to sleep. I found myself sitting on the bed at 6 deep in thought. Memories flooded back. By rights, given how different Jason and I were, we shouldn't have ended up together. Meeting him was a luxury. He was the heir of City A, accustomed to having his way. In a spat with his family, he raced cars fueled by his adrenaline. He crashed a high-end car worth millions into my art exhibit. A year's worth of effort ruined. Back then, not knowing his identity, I let my temper explode, ready to attack him with a bat. The staff stopped me, nervously explaining, just looking at that car. You should know you can't mess with him. Don't be impulsive. I cried out of frustration. If he didn't give me an answer today, I'd die right there. Jason stepped out, blood dripping from his forehead, wearing his anger visibly. I'll pay whatever it takes. Pay for my art. I was furious. He nodded, made a call. Bring some lawyers and prepare a $10 million check. Then, still holding the phone, he tilted his head to look at me, satisfied. The offer was more than enough. I needed the money badly, so I gave in. Apologize. Jason seemed amused, observing me for a moment. Fine, sorry. Then I fainted, collapsing forward into his arms. I forgot to mention, I faint at the sight of blood. That day Jason and I made headlines. Captioned, Heir of City A drives artist to tears in hospital. Only then did I learn he was not to be trifled with. Our unpleasant first meeting was the spark for our ill-fated bond. During another game, as punishment for losing, he had to call the last woman in his contacts. I answered, but what he heard was my distressed cry for help. I was being stalked. By the time Jason arrived, I was standing there dazed, holding a bloody brick, an unconscious assailant at my feet. Jason, I think I killed someone. He covered my eyes, don't panic. He carefully checked, the person was still breathing. That night, Jason stayed with me at the police station, took me to the hospital, drove me home. The streetlight outside my building was broken. He turned on his car's headlights to light my way. Molly, I prefer your fiery side from before, he said as he watched me go upstairs. That was the first time I felt a sense of security with him. As time passed, circumstances brought us together more often. Someone once remarked, you two are so meant for each other. It'd be a shame not to be together. That's when I realized I was starting to like Jason. But he was never short of admirers, each more beautiful than the last. Rumor had it he once rebelled against his family over a girl he adored, although it ended in regret. But everyone knew it was a past he refused to discuss. So I hesitated. On Jason's 25th birthday, something unexpected happened. I was sweet-talked into a large room with floor-to-ceiling windows. At midnight, blue fireworks exploded outside. From that vantage point, it was like a feast for the eyes. Then across the building appeared my name. Molly, will you be my girlfriend? There was a soft sound from behind and I turned. There stood Jason with flowers, smirking, Confession should be a man's task. The beginning of a story is always so beautiful. In less than 3 months of being with Jason, the arguments began. He was proud, rarely admitting fault. And I was stubborn, refusing to yield. Sometimes arguments ended up in bed. Jason's family turned a blind eye to my presence. They assumed Jason was just fooling around with me. No one expected he'd be fooling around for 3 years. I suggested breaking up countless times. Of course, he stood his ground. Either he'd ask to make up, or I would. I wasn't much of a drinker, but today felt different, so I dug out Jason's stash of fine liquor. After just a few sips, Carrie called with something urgent. The first thing she asked was, "Are you two getting married?" Carrie knew all about my history with Jason firsthand. At the start, she warned, "Jason might not be serious about you. Don't get too involved." But after witnessing our countless breakups and makeups, she'd just roll her eyes, speechless. "Just lock it down already. I'm feeling down." And I'm not sure where she got the news from. Carrie gets more and more excited. "You haven't checked your phone, huh? It's all over the internet. Some media caught Jason at a jewelry store. And everyone is saying you two are finally getting married." I pull out my phone and find the trending topic. Sure enough, the photo is of Jason. He's wearing the suit I bought him. He went in for an hour, and when he came out, he had a bag that sure looks like it's the size of a ring box. I still can't believe it. It can't be, right? After all, the way he acted last night didn't seem like he wanted to marry me. Carrie, knowing the whole story, reassures me. "Relax, he's definitely buying you an engagement ring. Just wait. You'll definitely be the bride. Remember to dress up nicely tonight. I'm counting on it." I'm still not sure, so I put on a mask and head to that jewelry store. Once I show my ID, the employee spills the beans. Jason really did buy something in my size. Is he really gonna propose to me? I feel complicated but mostly excited. At 7 p.m., I get a message from Jason. "It's my uncle's birthday, you should come." I purse my lips and type, "Do I have to?" It's mainly because of Jason's uncle. Before I can think about it, Jason calls, sounding impartial. "Come on, it's kinda important today. Oh, and wear that white dress." I rarely wear white. The only one I have was a gift from Jason. At the time, I asked him why he got me that. He was nonchalant. "I just thought it looked nice, so I bought it." When I arrive, there's a waiter waiting for me. The elevator is for VIP guests, but someone has already arrived ahead of me. The waiter nods respectfully, "Sir." Nathan looks over. I quickly avoid his gaze. "Also going to the 35th floor?" The waiter confirms. I stay silent the whole time, my palms slightly sweaty. He hasn't changed. Nathan's leg condition is well known in a town. He's mostly in a wheelchair. His assistant pushes him inside. I hesitate, thinking of taking the next ride. He calmly says, "If you don't get in, you'll be late." I have no choice but to get in under his cryptic gaze. No one talks during the elevator ride. When it dings and arrives, I let out a sigh of relief. The waiter opens the door. The young master is inside. I politely step aside to let my elder go first. Nathan says calmly, "Let's go in together." The private room is pretty crowded, most faces familiar. Jason doesn't notice me, busy playing games with others. He loses. Someone asks him to choose between truth or dare. Jason glances at the person opposite with an inexplicable look, smiles, and picks truth. Curious, I watch the scene. It's a beautiful woman. She looks strangely familiar. People eagerly throw him a sharp question. If Lucy and Molly both fell into the water, who would you save first? That's when it hits me. Years ago, Jason fell out with his family over this girl. Her name is Lucy. She's stunning. Even her name is lovely. No wonder he was so into her. From where I sit, I only see Jason's profile. He's grinning. Of course, Lucy. Molly can swim, I taught her, remember? Lucy grins and playfully throws a card at Jason's face. Watch your mouth. Don't let your girlfriend get the wrong idea. I won't be explaining myself then. Everyone looks thrilled. It's not every day someone dares to tease a town's prince like that. Jason indulges her, saying leisurely, Molly won't mind. And if she does, I'll just sweet talk her later. That year, I almost drowned during a seaside vacation because Jason had something at work and couldn't make it. Later, Jason hugged me relieved. Good thing you're okay. Molly, let me teach you how to swim. I wouldn't feel good letting you go alone otherwise. Back then, everyone said I had straightened Jason out. The once untamable guy had changed. But right now it feels kinda ironic. Molly. When someone calls my name, Jason pauses and turns. His smile fades a bit. When did you get here? He brings me a warm glass of water. I don't take it, just look at him. When you chose not me. Jason just raises an eyebrow, not explaining. He whispers for me to wait, then steps away. Nathan doesn't drink, he sips tea instead. After taking a sip, someone calls out, "Uncle." He slowly tastes his tea. It's bland. Jason is used to Nathan's cool demeanor, not daring to be upset, just grinning. Got carried away with the game and didn't greet you first, forgive me. In a town, only Nathan can hold him to account like this. Years back, when things weren't so rosy, enemies everywhere wanting a slice of the pie. Nathan was 20 when he came back and took up the mantle. In 3 short years, he had the company running smoothly. Tragically, a car accident left him unable to walk, leading him to step down. It was said Nathan was used. Jason wants to take him down. But playing the sly fox gains no advantage. So today, why not pull a little stunt? It's your birthday, come join us. Nathan shifts his gaze to the distance, hinting, I think you should handle your affairs first. Lucy approaches with a glass of wine, eyeing me. Molly, right? Jason talks about you a lot. I probably owe you thanks. Without you, Jason might still be stuck on our breakup pain. But you're something else, putting up with his temperament. 3 years still going strong? Her words are sharper than her features. Only a fool wouldn't get the message. I gave him a casual glance, crossing my arms and smiling faintly. Lucy's been hung up on him for 3 years now. Looks like she hasn't found anyone else yet. But honestly, I think your situation is pretty shaky. The old lady said Jason can't marry anyone else as long as she's alive. Lucy's face changed a bit. She bit her lip, playing innocent. You have a big problem with me. Is it because I'm the ex? People around looked at us, feeling sorry for Lucy and blaming me. I remembered a saying, how your boyfriend's friends treat you reflects his attitude. No, it's just that I simply can't stand people without principles. Probably Lucy's crowd has never heard such harsh words. She was so mad her eyes teared up. Jason warned me sharply. I didn't invite you here to argue. Then he apologized to Lucy for me. She's got a bad temper. You're a good soul, don't mind her. Lucy pretended to be generous, patting his shoulder. It's fine. We're friends after all. Just treat me to a meal, and we'll call it even. Oh, don't forget to bring your girlfriend, so there are no misunderstandings later on. Jason didn't turn, so I had no clue what his expression was when he said it. No need, soon she won't be. Lucy looked dramatically surprised, covering her mouth. Don't break up with Molly because of me. I felt a bit embarrassed. Jason acted like he didn't notice, keeping a polite smile on his face. Actually, today wasn't about me. He took out the ring he bought, but it wasn't for me. It was handed to the man in the wheelchair behind him. Nathan was sitting there, with a laid-back attitude. Uncle, I heard you're looking for someone to marry, and coincidentally, Molly's looking to settle down. Don't worry, I've trained her well, she'll take good care of you. See how thoughtful I am? Even got the ring ready for you. I felt my breath tighten. My smile strained as I tried convincing myself he must be drunk. Jason, this joke isn't funny at all. Giving your girlfriend to your uncle. How ridiculous. But he kept smiling, slipping out of my grasp. Coldly said, I'm serious. Right then, my last 3 years felt like a joke. If there were a time machine, I'd go back 3 years and tell myself, never fall for Jason. He's so not worth it. Everyone wondered if I'd make a scene. Even Lucy looked at me with pity. They were sure I wouldn't dare. Jason wasn't a good person, revengeful. I had to swallow my pride. Tonight, I became a laughingstock. I heard the sound of a wheelchair getting closer. Nathan calmly took the ring. He took my hand, speaking softly. Didn't you tell him about us? The ring fits well. Suddenly, the atmosphere seemed to shift. Who says the old fox is sly? Jason squinted, panic creeping into his voice. You guys know each other? I pushed aside all annoyance, held Nathan's hand and leaned slightly towards him. Unimportant person, not worth mentioning. By the way, you mentioned taking me to see the snow. When should we go? The man gripped my hand subtly, smirking. How about tonight? Just in time to celebrate our engagement. I'm not one to back down, so I slapped Jason across the face before we left. Right in front of everyone. You're quite lousy, you know. I tolerated you because of this 3-year deal we had. Lucy rushed over, cradling Jason's face, upset. What gives you the right to hit him? I don't hit women, so I poured wine all over her face. The red liquid made her look utterly pathetic. Molly, are you crazy? I smashed the glass. Yup, rabies, so stay away, or I might bite. Jason grabbed my hand, fuming. When did you and Nathan meet? What exactly is your relationship? What have you been hiding? His anger was almost laughable. Who'd guess he's the one who pushed me away an hour ago? What right do you have to question me? Jason, don't forget, you're the one who ended it just now. He squeezed harder, determined for answers. Jason. Nathan, tired of waiting for me at the door, came back to find me. His face fell when he saw what was happening. Be respectful to your aunt. Lucy chimed in. Jason, don't be foolish, she's not your girlfriend now. I slapped Jason again. He didn't dodge, his handsome face reddening instantly. He let go. I couldn't stand staying another second. I told Nathan, let's go. He nodded slightly, casting a meaningful warning glance at Jason. When most guests had left, the remaining ones dared to gossip. How bold, giving a 3-year relationship girlfriend to the uncle. Honestly, I kind of feel for Molly. You feel for her? She probably made quite a bit in those 3 years. Better feel sorry for yourself. Working hard doesn't beat keeping someone company. Someone in the know snorted. Jason wasn't after Molly, it was Nathan. What's up with him and Molly? They seemed close. You don't get it. Just saving face with a stunt, you buy that? Molly doesn't have the pull to know Nathan. Jason, who had come back for his phone, overheard and paused. He leaned slightly against the wall, pondering. Yeah, how could Molly know Nathan? They must have staged that to rile him up. Nathan never wears cologne. His car is pretty low-key. The kind that blends in with traffic, without getting noticed. The driver raised the partition ahead of time. In this snug little space, Nathan broke the silence first. Why didn't you come see me after you got back? I looked out the window. Was there a need? After all, things were pretty awkward when we parted back then. I went to college abroad. At first, everything felt unfamiliar. I wasn't fluent in the language either. I faced many challenges. When I was almost completely broke, the idea of mugging someone crossed my mind. After hanging around a wealthy neighborhood for a week, I targeted a young man. First of all, he was Chinese. Secondly, he was always alone, mostly walking to school. Third, he seemed kind-hearted, often seen feeding stray cats on the streets. Before making a move, I tried to convince myself. Just $200, and I'd pay him back once I got my paycheck. My shadow startled the cat, and I mumbled nervously. Mugging. The man looked up at the sound. He was strikingly handsome. Fair skin, good looks. It was my first time getting a clear look at him up close. Then I started to regret it. He clapped his hands and stood up, speaking softly. What do you want to take? Money. I said it without much confidence, clutching a toy knife awkwardly. That's not a good thing to do. Are you going through a tough time? Maybe I can help. He was genuinely kind. I couldn't hold back any longer. My stomach, hungry for 3 days, gave in. I squatted down and started bawling. A kind bystander thought I was in danger and called the cops. And both of us ended up getting taken in. Nathan, you can leave. He called a lawyer to come get me out. The man rubbed his stiff neck and got up. But kind as he was, he didn't forget to take me with him. Taking the lawyer's car keys, he said, you can go. I'll handle the rest. I was too famished to talk. On the ride, I curled up in the passenger seat pretending to nap. He tossed a chocolate bar onto my lap. It's all I've got. Want some? Not taking it would be foolish. We learned each other's names at the police station. Thank you, Nathan. I'm sorry. I apologized for what I did. He didn't say much, spinning the steering wheel with one hand, parking in the garage. Time to get out. As I suspected, he was well off, with a garage full of luxury cars whose names I couldn't pronounce. Nathan cooked up a feast. He was quite the chef. His food was so good it could make someone cry. He handed me a tissue to wipe my tears. You can work for me. I'll pay you. Nathan was buried in studies back then, and domestic jobs kept piling up. He needed an assistant. I stuck around. Room and board were covered. The pay wasn't too bad. And important to note, my boss was extremely good-looking. I was an art student. He even set aside a room for me to use as a studio. He said he didn't understand art, but he never disturbed me. When I lost track of time painting, he'd bring coffee, saying looks great. Our beginning was the purest. He'd done me a favor. Our relationship changed one day when he mentioned he'd swing by to pick me up after my class. After the call, I hurriedly packed up, but a guy stopped me at the school gates. He was a handsome mix of Chinese and English. Why did you reject me that day? I politely took a step back. Because I don't like you. He was persistent. But you gave me gifts, sang with me, and didn't refuse when I asked you to dance. I explained each incident. The gift was for his birthday. It was something everyone in class did. Singing was on the teacher's strong recommendation. I couldn't refuse. The dance was part of a simple social gathering. That night, I didn't just dance with you. He looked a bit hurt, but wasn't giving up. Molly, why won't you accept me? Molly, a voice called from a black Maybach parked by the road. Nathan looked great in black. He approached naturally and took my hand. Ready to head home. The guy figured things out, looking a bit resentful and sadder. Starting that day, I realized Nathan might have started liking me. He didn't quite know how to show it, staring at me without holding back. I'd planned to come clean on my 22nd birthday. But something unexpected happened first. A woman claiming to be Nathan's mom showed up and set things straight. Fooling around is your business, but now the company is in crisis. He needs to deal with it, and the best way is to marry a girl from a good family. So what can you offer him? I realized I had nothing to give. When blowing out birthday candles, he got a call and took it out on the balcony. I didn't know I had a fiancé. Sorry, but I'm not accepting this. The man's cold laughter came through the wall loud and clear. I'd made my decision by then. After blowing out the candles, Nathan asked what I wished for. Study hard, graduate smoothly, and get married and have kids with my boyfriend. The last part stunned him into silence. Boyfriend? I nodded. Yeah, I said yes. The guy you saw at the school gate, pretty decent pic, right? Nathan's gaze held mine, as he said he didn't believe it. Nathan, I'm in love with him. That statement set off the fireworks. He lost it. Pinned me down on the couch, eyes reddening, voice choked. You're lying to me, aren't you? Molly, you don't really like him, do you? I held back my emotions, smiled softly. Aren't you supposed to be happy for me? He gripped tighter, as if wanting to strangle me. That night, I dragged my luggage into another man's car. It was raining, and Nathan stood in the downpour, disheveled and defeated. Molly. I didn't look back. I fell asleep, but was roused by my phone vibrating. The car was dim, and the silence felt heavy. I had no idea how long Nathan had been watching me. He reached out, wiping a tear from the corner of my eye. Why are you crying? Was it because of Jason? I turned away and mumbled, just a bad dream. The guy didn't say anything else. Nathan had arranged for a private jet to leave in half an hour. I wanted to pack some things, but he said everything over there was ready. While waiting in the VIP lounge, Carrie fussed over the whole situation. Like seriously, who does he think he is? Just some spoiled rich kid, who thinks having money makes him special. I wished Jason a life of loneliness with nobody around him. Will Jason die alone? Probably not. He's got tons of people chasing after him, and now even his long-lost love is back. He should be happy, right? But I'm not. Why should he have it all? Carrie didn't agree when she heard about Nathan and me. Even though Nathan isn't a player, the drama from years back suggests his circle isn't great. The longer you're around him, the more danger you're in. I gave a wry smile and said, even without him, my life wouldn't be any better. Don't worry, tonight's engagement is just a show. He's not marrying me. Nathan can't stand me. Carrie hesitated, but Nathan's assistant came over to let me know I could board. The flight was delayed because Nathan seemed caught up with something. I didn't really mind. By the time we landed in Hokkaido, Japan, it was already 6 a.m. Yawning, I entered my room. Nathan's was right across. If you need anything, just call, I'll be right over. Nathan hadn't changed, always considerate. I nodded politely, didn't say much. I slept till evening. My phone had several missed calls. Carrie sent me a screenshot. It was a post from Lucy on social media. The man clinking glasses with her was Jason. The caption read, "A toast promised in our youth, fulfilled after so many years." My friend showed it to me. I couldn't stand those scumbags. "Molly, I seriously think Jason saw you as her stand-in all these years. They never really stopped contacting. How else could he treat you so badly and push you away the moment she came back?" I didn't know how to reply. What Carrie said wasn't baseless. I once saw a period tracking app on Jason's phone. Back then, I slightly suspected he might be seeing someone else. But the guy looked like he wouldn't hurt a fly. He held me, kissed me, calmly explaining, "It's for you. You're always so irregular, and it hurts a lot." I was surprised by his sudden change but more so moved. I didn't think to check. Maybe I would have seen that the data in the app had nothing to do with me. Looking back, if Jason were in showbiz, he'd be a great actor. 3 years he kept his act, and I didn't catch on. A chilly breeze brought me back to reality. I had wandered into the snowy landscape. Everything was covered in white, snow resting on the bamboo planted by the hotel, drifting with the wind. I couldn't see the path under my feet. Looking back, my tracks were gone too. I removed the ring. It was flashy large. What was Jason thinking when he picked it? Excited to pull off a prank? Or relieved to finally cut ties with me after 3 years? Maybe both. I let go, and the ring fell into the snow, disappearing without a trace quickly. 3 years of feelings, and now nothing remains. "Molly." Startled, I turned around. Nathan's assistant secured the wheelchair and discreetly left. Under a black umbrella, Nathan's striking face appeared. "Aren't you cold? Come here." I don't know what feeling guided me to him, moving slowly. He didn't rush me, just reminded me to watch my step. The man handed me a scarf, still warm from him. "Nathan." "Yeah." I dropped the ring. "I mean, that joke of a proposal doesn't count anymore. You don't need to feel responsible, and I don't feel attached. Let's go back to how things were." But he lowered his gaze, elegantly fixing my gloves without even lifting his eyes. "I'll buy you 100 more," he said. "If it's not enough, I'll get more." I paused, oddly jittery inside. "Are you serious?" Nathan looked at me, unwavering. "I've always been serious. Wanting you, that's real. Marrying you, that's real. Bringing you home, that's real too." Jason was a bit out of control tonight with his drinking. Lucy came over to comfort him. "Are you having regrets?" They had just found out Molly really went to Hokkaido with Nathan. And then Jason, for some reason, hadn't turned down Lucy's idea to toast. He let her post the pic on social media. Adults typically keep things ambiguous, but she assumed she and Jason were officially back together. "Regrets?" He sneered, finishing his drink and smashing the glass down. "You guys really think I can't get over Molly? Getting rid of her, it's a relief." It's not that he didn't love Molly. The truth is, in that first year, if someone made him choose between Molly and Lucy, he would have picked Molly. He admitted at first, Molly reminded him of when he and Lucy were forced apart, and she left crying. He did miss Lucy then. But once they got together, it turned out they weren't alike at all. Lucy was always accommodating, hardly ever challenged him. Molly has a tough personality like a thorn. It hurts when it pricks, but you're afraid to pull it out. Even the best relationships can get tiring. He started to feel annoyed by Molly's defiance. Then he began to miss Lucy, who was abroad. But cheating on Molly didn't sit right with him. So he was stuck in limbo. If Molly was the main dish spicing up life, then Lucy was the occasional dessert. Everyone thought Nathan was wasting his life. They said just being smart wouldn't help much. He just needs to fool around for a few more years. The business would eventually be his. But he'd found out that the biggest beneficiary of the will his dad holds was actually his little uncle, who had become disabled. He wasn't happy about it. But he couldn't do anything. They said Nathan was looking to marry for business. Although not as great as he once was, many socialites were eager. Then there was Lucy, back from abroad and hoping to reignite an old flame. Jason, for some reason, thought of a win-win situation, sending Molly away. He was the one who let go, but seeing Molly with another man made him uncomfortable. Everyone said Jason had too much to drink, yet he insisted impossible. When Lucy tried to help him, he coldly pushed her away, saying, "Don't touch me." If I go home smelling like another woman, Molly will start a fight. He was so drunk he forgot he was single. You guys might not know, but Molly, she's not easy to appease at all. Lucy's face looked exactly like you'd imagine, less than pleased. Nathan asked me what I wanted to do. I glanced at the distant snow-capped mountains. How about skiing? He got a coach for me, who taught me one-on-one. When I awkwardly slid a few meters, he smiled at me and warned me to be careful. The coach, who's Chinese, guided me, joking, "Your boyfriend really likes you, huh?" I instinctively wanted to correct him, "He's not my boyfriend." But when I touched the newly bought ring from last night, I suddenly remembered Nathan and I are nearly getting married. "Why would you say that?" I asked. He chuckled. "I've taught many rich guys' girlfriends. Whenever there's danger, they'd stop it right away, saying it's out of concern. They claim that's love. But I always believe the first step to loving someone is respecting them. Sure, he worries but still lets you have fun, just asks you to be safe. Because you enjoy it." There was a small accident in the afternoon. When I was confidently skiing alone, a youngster suddenly appeared out of nowhere, blocking my path. I couldn't turn. Yelling for him to move didn't help. I went straight for the fence. When the staff carried me out, Nathan had just finished handling work over the phone. He called medics to check on me and then scolded the staff. "This is my private booking. How could someone just appear? If anything happens to my wife, I won't let it slide." The kid who caused the trouble cried, and the parents kept bowing and apologizing. Nathan snapped, "I'm not the one you should apologize to." They turned to me, spilling out a stream of sorries, and offered to cover any medical expenses. I nodded slightly, saying apology accepted. I sprained my foot. Our trip back home had to be delayed. I was embarrassed to hold Nathan up. "How about you go back first? I'm okay here." He learned some recovery massage techniques from the doctor. His hands were warm, light and gentle, often lulling me to sleep. He was honest. "I'm worried about you." Maybe seeing I was bored, he found a topic. "When do you want the wedding?" We always avoided talking about getting married, because we both knew it was a surprise event. "Nathan, I kind of don't want to get married so soon. I just broke up, not ready for someone new. And you only stepped up that day to save me from embarrassment. I appreciate it, but marriage isn't something to rush into." I thought he'd be upset, stone-faced. But he just smiled gently. "Okay. I'll think it over. You should too." While reading on the balcony, a snowball suddenly hit me. I thought it was a kid's prank, and didn't mind until the second one landed by my feet. Looking down, I unexpectedly met Jason's intense gaze. He could casually climb walls. A third-floor climb looked easy for him. When he noticed my bandaged right leg, he frowned. "This is his idea of taking care of you." I didn't want to see him, so I resisted. "What are you doing here?" "Because I miss you," he said, unable to voice his feelings, thinking it sounded cheesy. "Molly, you hate the cold. This place isn't for you. Let me take you home." I put my book down and started to tell him to leave. "I'll call security if you don't go." Jason laughed, unfazed. "Go ahead, call them." "How do you think I walked in?" "They let me." Nathan's room was across, but his assistant said he had a meeting all night and had just taken a sleeping pill. I was about to scream when he covered my mouth. "Sho, if you make a sound, I'll kiss you." Then he lifted me effortlessly. "How can a cripple care for you?" "I'll take you home." I struggled, and as he sighed above me, "Molly, don't blame me." I felt a sharp pain at the nape and lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was already back. Jason brought me to the place we shared before. He cooked my favorite dishes himself. But I didn't glance at them, only feeling disgust. "Jason, haven't you had enough?" The man squats by my feet. It's the first time he's spoken to me with such a compromising attitude. "Molly, what will it take for you to forgive me?" Is he seriously asking for forgiveness? I laugh. "All right then, go and die." There's no humor in Jason's eyes, only disbelief. "Do you hate me so much that you'd want me to die?" I smack him across the face, firm and determined. "Yes." He grabs my hand. "Feel any better?" Once more. He's really got issues. The tension lingers until the doorbell rings. He doesn't move. Lucy's voice echoes from the door as she pounds on it. "Jason, explain yourself. What do you mean it's over? What do you mean you don't like me anymore?" I suddenly let out a cold laugh, taunting him as I glare. "I really have no respect for you. Jason breathes heavily, pain flickering in his eyes. Lucy won't give up until she sees him. She shouts, "You better hide in there forever. Better keep Molly hidden. I'm telling you, Nathan's back in town. You took his girl, and he won't let this slide." The last ray of light before dusk reflects on the side of Jason's face. Gazing at me intently, he holds my hand tight. "Don't worry. I won't let him find us. He's truly lost it." That thread of sanity snapped in Jason's mind when he saw a certain photo. He had someone investigate Molly's past and found that photo. In it, a man and woman are holding hands. The man is Nathan. They've known each other for a long time, even lived together for several months. Jason never believed in purely platonic friendships between men and women, so he doesn't need to dig deeper to know just how close they were during those months. He can't help but remember. Did she love Nathan? The woman who told him she loved him so many times, was she always holding another man in her heart? He feels like a clown. He agonized over this for so long, worried he'd been unfair to Molly. He tears the photo to shreds. In a frenzy, he flies to Hokkaido that night, hoping nothing's happened between them. But even if there has been, he doesn't care. He wants to win Molly back. Jason boards up every window and door until none of the light gets in. "Molly, now no one will find us." I don't even bother responding. There's no reasoning with someone like him. Several footsteps echo outside. Jason installed surveillance outside, showing the police getting ready to storm in. They're calling for Jason to let me go. Nathan emerges from the crowd. He can walk again. "Jason, open the door, you can take this out on me." No response from inside. Jason finds a box from somewhere, filled with gifts we've exchanged. Clothes, necklaces, stuffed animals, and a box of expired chocolates. I made those myself. Jason has a weak stomach, and after just one piece, he ended up in the hospital. So that box missing one piece remained ever since. He starts reminiscing. "Actually, I lied to you. I didn't like those chocolates. I pretended they upset my stomach to get out of a date. That time we were supposed to see a movie, I said work kept me. But I was actually abroad celebrating Lucy's birthday. The ring you gave me, I lost it gambling. I thought, it's just a ring, I'll get it back." He keeps talking. I'm unmoved. It doesn't matter anymore. When the love is gone, those things don't matter. "Molly, did you ever truly love me?" I close my eyes, not answering. In the dark room, the only sound is his faint sobbing. I don't get why he's crying. This entire relationship, he was never really committed. What's there to regret? Jason opens the door. He looks at the man before him. "Take her away." Nathan strides in, searching frantically for me, his face full of concern. "Are you okay?" I shook my head. "I'm fine." As he carries me out, Jason is led past us handcuffed. The man looks at me with eyes full of reluctance. "I'm sorry." I turned my face into Nathan's shoulder, saying nothing. Later, I heard he got a long sentence. Just as I was surprised, Carrie let something slip. The day Jason took you, he had someone set a fire at Nathan's hotel, intending to burn him alive. He blocked the news and made me promise not to tell anyone. That's when I remembered seeing a scar on Nathan's wrist. Back then he just lightly said, "Just a little burn, no big deal." Nathan's leg had actually healed long ago. He just kept up the pretense for other reasons. Sometimes you can only do certain things from the shadows. He rejoined his family, proving his capabilities, earning everyone's respect. At 28, just like when he came back, he was confident and driven. After a period of rest, I suddenly got the idea to travel the world. When I mentioned it to Nathan, he only asked if I had enough money or needed any help. I smiled and said I had everything I needed. His eyes were warm as he raised a glass of red wine. "Then I wish you a safe journey." On the day I left, I made sure to leave early, avoiding Nathan. Boarding alone, I felt a rush of excitement for the unknown adventures ahead. There are two stories about City A. One is about a top-tier family, how the head, Nathan, remains unmarried, always wearing a ring on his left ring finger, saying he's waiting for someone. The other is about a married couple deeply in love. Despite being a workaholic, the husband always makes time every month to bring his wife home from her travels. The end.